and welcome to the second part of Sinclair's Law Legal Apprenticeship Challenge. Today we've come to London and the historic heart of the British judicial system. And once again we're joined by hopeful candidates from around the UK. This is Temple, one of the most historic districts in London.
Hi guys, welcome to London. Welcome to 1 King's Bench Walk Chambers, where you're going to be being interviewed today. Before we get started on the tour of the temple, a couple of people to introduce you to. Firstly, Clive Newton QC is a leading family law barrister in England and Wales.
Mary Hughes, I'm a family barrister as well. I just work in Middle Temple and I'm also a part-time judge. Well, I'm really pleased to see all you young people here today. I think this is a brilliant idea of an apprenticeship, going back to the old days. I mean, that's what solicitors used to do. Let's have a walk down.
So with a judge and a barrister as their guides, the candidates set off on a tour of this historic area. Workplace to the legal profession since medieval times, right in the heart of London.
These gardens go right the way down to the embankment. Again, more chambers all along here. Everybody who's a barrister have their names written on a board by the door. You see, these are all the barristers.
Knowing the amount of history that's gone on here, the amount of people that have been trained to become very successful lawyers, barristers and solicitors.
You can see how many people have become so well established in law and actually how hard that they've worked to get there, and I think it is really inspiring to kind of see where you can end up at the end of the day.
You must have heard of the Temple Church. The Da Vinci Code, Matthew, that was all set round here, wasn't it? How many have read the Da Vinci Code?
Temple Church is 800 years old and was the home to the legendary Knights Templar.
It's just so quiet as well. Like, you've got all of London's traffic outside and then it's just so quiet and serene in here.
It is an oasis, it really is.
It's a lovely peaceful area and I could really see myself studying here and working hard.
All this building here is the Royal Courts of Justice.
I've never experienced anything like it before, and it's really drawn me towards, encouraged me even more towards law.
I'm from Morecambe, which is, compared to London, Cardiff, a very small town. Don't have big buildings or anything like that.
So I've never been to London before, so I didn't really know what to expect. I just know that I want to be here.
So many people get driven in there and maybe don't come out or come out in a prison van or something. So here we are, this is the main entrance. You've probably seen this picture many a time on the news. These are the steps that people stand on when they come out.
I love looking at the sort of old buildings and seeing all the history here and the tradition and how many cases have been in these buildings and how many life-changing cases that have changed the lives of millions.
And it's amazing to see the history of law coming into the 21st century.
Right, everybody following?
So the tour is over and it's been an inspiring start to the day.
These people who have, they've had all this experience, they've worked hard to get to the place they are. If they're sharing that with us, it's a great opportunity that I'm not gonna ignore.
So now with the guided tour over, it's down to business. Back inside, it's time for the candidates to face a team of legal experts and convince them that they deserve a place in the final. Upstairs at King's Bench Walk, Sinclair's CEO, Mike Charles, holds a final briefing with his team before they separate into 3 interview rooms.
We've assessed the intellectual ability, we've assessed their ability to be able to communicate a topic, we've seen that. Now it's trying to assess their enthusiasm, who just exudes that enthusiasm and has the sparkle.
Downstairs, the candidates do their best to relax.
I think it's all going to be about the personality. So if someone comes in, they're hard-hitting and enthusiastic, I think that's the kind of candidate we're really looking forward to today.
So, who has the personality to win the judges over? Maybe there's a clue in what got them interested in law in the first place.
My desire to practice law is born out of my love of language, particularly oratory. The way things are written down or the way things are said or done.
My mum's a cook and my dad's a mechanic, but I took the route of wanting to become a lawyer because that's something I've always wanted to do.
Since I was younger, my dad was a police officer. I'd argue with him even though I didn't know anything about law. And I think that was when I realised that I have a passion for learning about this subject because I wanted to know more.
When I was about 10 or 11 years old, I was really interested in the police force, and I actually wanted to be a police officer first of all.
I did jury service for 6 weeks a few years ago,
and that kind of really got me interested in law. It kind of felt really close to the law for the first time.
I don't think there's been one specific thing, but I've always been interested in law and like the news and how it's constantly changing and developing.
You need law in society for a society to work, and to be a part of that would be really, really incredible.
So will all that enthusiasm shine through in the interview room? The experts are keen to gauge the candidate's ambition and commitment.
And what do you want to achieve in 10 years from now, do you think?
To have my name followed by LLB on a business card at my own desk with a client, being able to practice what I love is pretty much the goal.
So where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
I think for me it's doing human rights law. I think that's the area of law that I'm most interested in.
So 10 years down the line, where do you see yourself?
Hopefully as a lawyer for Sinclairslaw.
You've got a foundation degree, which you're very close to really achieving. So why is it taking you until now to choose law? Why didn't you go into it earlier?
It's the confidence. I didn't have the confidence when I was 18 years old.
Academic confidence?
Academic confidence. I've never had anyone to advise me. I've done it all by myself.
For me, in 10 years, I see myself as a fully qualified solicitor working in a law firm with a house that I have myself, that I own for myself.
Next on the agenda, why are they so keen on an apprenticeship, and an apprenticeship at Sinclairslaw in particular?
Is your preference for the apprenticeship scheme or for a degree course?
I certainly think the apprenticeship scheme, because of the experience you gain, as well as your academic course, you'll be getting this experience in practice, and it helps with the understanding of the course and also builds a solicitor from an early stage.
I think Sinclair's apprenticeship is very dynamic and it's not offered at many places. As I am interested in education law, the most sensible decision would be to pursue one at a place that is an expert in education law.
So Lucy, through your research, what did you find out interesting about Sinclairslaw?
The most interesting thing I think was the website itself that promotes Sinclairslaw. It has a very accessible website and allows you to access current case studies that are happening within the firm, and you can keep up to date with all the news.
And why Sinclairslaw?
I just was particularly interested in the way it outreach to just the general public with its podcasts on its website.
So, after an exhausting day, all the candidates have made their case for the apprenticeship.
Well, we've just finished the interviews and it was insightful. There was so much passion, a lot of enthusiasm in the room. Some individuals were very nervous, and I think that was pretty clear.
And now comes the hardest part. The experts have to compare notes and pick the finalists.
We're looking for enthusiasm in regard to the pursuing of a career in the law, knowledge of the firm, the depth of knowledge and experience that they've developed, ambition, organisation, resilience, and what I think is one of the most important, interpersonal skills. What about you, Vanessa? What did you think?
I think some of them quite lacked confidence, which was quite sad to see, really.
I think we have to remember that these candidates largely are 18.
Yes.
There was one candidate for me that simply shone.
And what did they have?
I mean, it was the composure, the way that they delivered the answers. They were on the money. This next candidate was clearly lacking in confidence, but has developed confidence. Matt, what did you find?
And there were clearly some who were more prepared and generally better than others. One in particular who I think both Vanessa and I thought was excellent. Out of the group there was maybe one or two who, whether it was confidence or otherwise, they just weren't up to the same standard. So this candidate, for instance, both Vanessa and I thought was exceptional. Similar with this candidate here, she was also excellent. On the other hand, this one didn't necessarily come across as genuine as they could have done.
You mean genuine in terms of wanting that career?
Yeah.
And there are questions over other candidates' commitment to either an apprenticeship or even a career in law.
Some of them we felt that hadn't made decisions as to whether the apprentice role was for her.
Did you see that, Chris?
Yes, I did see several of them. I wasn't sure whether they would actually be that keen on law if they didn't get an apprenticeship, whether they actually would be committed to law after, not getting an apprenticeship.
So every aspect of the candidate's commitment and motivation is under scrutiny this time.
All of them were good, but 2 were better than the others and stood out.
Next, it's time to tot up the scores.
What was the highest score you gave?
27.
27, yeah. Yeah.
Ours was 26.
26?
Yeah, very close.
So maybe you're a little bit more lenient.
Yeah. So, are we all agreed on these candidates? Yeah?
Yes.
We're all 100% behind this. Great. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for your time. I think let's look forward to the next stage.
So the candidates through to the next stage are Oliver, Lucy, Georgia, Saffron, Olivia, and Christian. Well, that's it. The tough decisions have been made and we have our finalists. Next time we'll be back in Cardiff where the candidates will take on different roles in a courtroom exercise. How will they get on? Join us to find out. Join us next time here with the Legal Trailblazers to see the next programme and follow the latest stage of this exciting contest.